Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I'm a remote viewer um, consultant uh, for business and for issues, including health, with my psychic skills that I developed in a secret government program that has still not been declassified. I'm here, totally aligned with my mission, probably scared out of my wits, like a lot of people are today, because if you think it's scary from there and you're only getting the information from the physical dimension, can you imagine what things look like from my point of view, which is several dimensions? The good news is that in the other dimensions, things are looking really good. And I'm shocked, but maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe all of those years of work and focused intention and of aligning myself with everything that could bring me to this point to be able to make a difference in end times, maybe it's all working. I have to strongly urge you to pay attention to the law of the planet, which comes after free will, which obviously is walked over by everybody, including us when we have children. And the other law, which is intention creates reality. The truth of the matter is, we don't have a right to complain about what's going on because we created it. Or we just rode the wave of creative uh, intention of a group of people, such as if you belong to a political party or you belong to a religion. But let's not get into all of that. That's theoretical. And let's go directly into what it is that happened in our chat last night. We're doing chats with Venezuela, the United States, and Mexico, because those are the three countries that are important for what's coming up now. Venezuela, whatever the path Venezuela takes, is going to determine the path of Latin America. And whatever path Mexico takes is going to determine the path of the United States. I know that's going to irritate a lot of people. Oh, how can that be? We're so much bigger. We have so much more money. We have so many planes that can kill everybody. Well, here's the trick. When you are trained as severely as I was, you can't be fixing information that's uncomfortable. I remember that there were too many times I was asked to look at something psychically as a child. And when I saw what it was, what the answer was to what they were asking me, I would go, oh my God, now what are we going to do here? Because I knew they wouldn't like it, but I couldn't change it. The consequences were too severe. And that's totally ingrained in me. And trying to soften the blow of a piece of information, I wasn't allowed to do that either. Leaving out information because I wasn't sure how people were going to like it, I wasn't allowed to do that either. And I don't do that here with you. A lot of what I tell you here on the podcast and on these chats is a surprise to me. So if you don't like the information, okay, then you trolley yourself over to some place with a better source of information on what I'm telling you. But you're not going to be able to find that. There are not that many people that got as severe training as I did, nor have the focused intention that I have, nor are really good psychics, but also really enjoy doing business and have done business successfully. It's a combination of many things, and I'm not trying to get you to be impressed with me. I'm trying to create some kind of a foundation so that when I speak, you don't instantly reject what I say simply because it's really not what you wanted to hear. Well, maybe it's not what I wanted to hear either. It's simply information. It was said well over 100 years ago that the Americas would be the place of power in the future. And I am believing that. I would have never thought that when I first heard that, which would have been about 20 years ago. But let's not get into that either. Let's recap what it is that happened last night. What did we discover and what did we do? We went to Venezuela. Venezuela looks great. The portal that was in the south of Venezuela, the portal to hell, which is what got me caught up with Venezuela in 2018, was finally closed. That portal was opened due to human anguish related to the assassinations of all the humans that were around those mines that could not work in the mines, and that the owners of the mines didn't want to have to feed them. Oh my God. Well, I have to tell you, that world of mining and natural resources doesn't surprise me at all. So don't let it surprise you. The human anguish was such, and anguish is negative emotions, and they're toxic. And they broke open protective dimensions and walls, etc. So there was a portal there. And of course, Venezuela was in deep trouble in 2018. We worked on it a lot. We never really successfully closed it completely. Yesterday was the first time I sketched, and there's no portal. Okay, this is great. The rest of Venezuela looked great. Great. They won the elections. The people that should have won, they won it. Everything is graceful. We've done a ton of work on the transition being graceful. But then I said, and when is the transition of the government? And they said, January. And I went, that's 5 months from now. Yes, it's 5 months from now. So I said, well, then we have to keep working. The major thing that we are doing, in addition to the mantra for there being a miraculously graceful transition, was a visualization of the high-ranking military in Venezuela with their loved ones taking off their uniform and saying, I don't want this anymore. That's the visualization. So if you want to pitch in and you also want a peaceful transition in terms of government transition in Venezuela, then that's the visualization you should be doing to help out. If everything feels like it's working, and if that is the case, then an image I got of the future, which I was not looking for, did not expect, then it's accurate. And in that image, there was a Venezuelan mother reading to her child from a little book about Venezuela, just putting her to bed. And she says, and in Venezuela, we were able to transition from a military government to a civilian government where everybody was very happy. And we set an example for the other countries that they can do this too. Wow. So that was a psychic hit from the future. And then after that, I was up on X, and they had this little video about all of the coups in Latin America that were directed by the CIA, and all the years, and this country this year, and this country this year, and this country this year. So that makes that future psychic hit even more valuable. That protecting the Venezuela transition from military dictatorship to civilian is going to be very good for all of Latin America, which is basically what I was told. And that's why I was told that, I don't know, several months ago. But I was told since 2018, the Dolphins said, please work with Venezuela. It's really important to the planet. So there we were. It was really good. Then we went to the United States and Mexico. The United States looked pretty good. The wavy lines where the earth is literally moving, and they are gauging it in California. It's a foot a week in California. Well, everything is moving that way. It was much better. The lines were much less severe. And I just sketched the United States map now. And this is what it looks like. There's a heart in the center, whereas yesterday there was a hole, a portal in the heart chakra. The wavy lines are not only not red, they're blue, and they're moving in the opposite direction. Wait a second, did we have a polar cap shift? This is huge. Let me show you the map. And this is a map. That's here. This is a map that we've been doing consistently. And it shows Mexico and the United States having this movement, which is from the left side of the map to the right. Both countries. That's why we have to work both countries together. Let me move over. But today, the lines aren't blue, and they're moving in the opposite direction. Now, the only weak point on the map, and these things, as you can see, just like your moods can change from minute to minute, and your emotions have everything to do with creating reality, these maps can change from minute to minute, as we can see. I never thought they could change as quickly, but we are in the age of Aquarius, and we're in a time in which miracles can happen in 2 seconds flat. So the only weak point is Florida, basically where Trump lives, and it says ground zero. And it's red and there's a portal. So that's what we're going to be working on today. I don't understand this movement of the ground triggered by an earthquake in Japan. I don't understand it between yesterday and today, shifting direction. So when we do the meditation, the mantra meditation with the sacred music, you might have an intention to understand why the energy would be moving in the opposite direction. The blue, okay, I accept that. Oh, that's great. But the opposite direction, I think it's great. Well, I don't know if it's great. We'll find out. So this is where we're at. And I did not, okay, the third thing we worked on yesterday was I did the Mexico map and it looked great except for the wavy lines, except they were much softer. But then at the top of the map, I wrote the words worrisome. In other words, worrying. And I wonder what that's all about. So when we went to the end of the session to do a healing and visualization on Mexico and the United States, in which we were planting trees with deep roots and thick trunks and everything to stabilize the ground. Okay, we stabilized the ground. Look how interesting. I didn't want to use this map, but my printer's not working. So, and this has so much information on it for the states, but it has all these trees, which is what the visualization is for the United States and Mexico. Why are the United States and Mexico together? Because they are working together. They are linked today. It has nothing to do with immigration. It has something to do with the earth. Remember, the earth existed before there were nations and before there were boundaries, etc. Okay, so, and here we go with modern people thinking that they can simply, because they have all these technologies and machines, they can go against something that is, you don't go against, such as nature. If the natural position of the United States and Mexico at this point in time is connected, both of their destinies, then you need to accept that and work with both of them and not say, oh no, but I'm not from Mexico. No, you're not from Mexico. But guess what? If there's a huge catastrophe in the planet, okay, and almost everything goes down, it really is not going to matter. Whether you're not from Mexico, you're not from Cuba, you're not from Venezuela, you're from the United States, and you're in New York City. Actually, all the other countries are going to do better than you. So you need to get over this whole thing of I'm from and look at. That's the wonderful thing. I learned god awful things in the government program. I learned great things. And one is you respect information. Now, you need to make sure it's accurate, but you have to respect that information. And from there, you can make decisions. And if you don't want to go in the direction the information is pointing you in, then you have to work really hard, particularly with intentions, or you're going to get into trouble. So working really hard in this case is planting trees with your mind. It's very simple. You simply have the intention, you breathe, and you do it. So the United States looks great. Energy's moving in the opposite direction. The color's okay. Mexico, when we went back, I pinpointed an area. If you're looking at the map, it's to the right of Mexico City. And I said, there's a volcano ready to erupt there. And it turns out that the volcano that worries everybody, whose name I cannot pronounce, Popocatépetl, something like that, was getting ready to erupt. I didn't know there was a volcano there. I do know there's a pyramid there that I want to go there with cameras and do a documentary. And it's a pyramid that's larger than the pyramids in Egypt. and the Catholics wanted to hide it so badly, they built a hill on top of it, and then they built a church on top of the hill. So it's like this pyramid of land, of dirt, whatever. There's a church at the top, but underneath that is gold in terms of information having to do with pyramids. So, by the way, when you have an intention, your energy field forms vectors, which basically are pyramids. And those vectors funnel energy from one dimension to the other, which is what pyramids do. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We're going to go ahead and work on your mastery. I did not sketch all of you, so I can do that really quickly in front of you. And, okay, so here we go. Let me go back because I just noticed the Bagua map, which is the map of the energies in your home, in spaces. You put the map on top of any space, and it will tell you what energies are being channeled there. In the United States, when we looked at it yesterday, the Florida area and part of the Carolinas has to do with helpful friends. Today, we see a portal that's in red, that's rage, and we go ground zero. And I noticed a couple of things that Trump was, at least were coming out as him having said it today. And it's obvious that he's very frustrated, even though it's also obvious that he's very happy with the tremendous success he's having, which is really our success in supporting him in what it is that he's presenting. But we need to work on this now. And this is the helpful friends section of the Bagua map. So this could put a dent on the relationship between Trump and Elon, but not just Trump and Elon, but on your relationship with everybody else if you live in the United States, because this is where the energy of helpful friends and travel is channeled in the United States if you live in the United States. So see why we have to work with other people? It's not just about us. The stuff they're doing all the way over there is affecting us. An earthquake in Japan, we didn't think was that big a deal. I mean, after all, it didn't hit here. We didn't hear that much about it. It wasn't on the news 24/7. And yet, it's moving the ground 1 foot. They're measuring it in California. 1 foot a week. It's like, okay, so there's a smile. I've never sketched a smile yet. I'm sketching for those of you that are listening in podcast. We've got the 3 pyramids of protection. Okay, so I just got a piece of information on these 3 pyramids. The pyramids anchor us to the earth and stabilize us. And the points of the pyramid connect us to galactic. So we end up being stabilized on earth and connected to the galactic. Isn't it interesting? I have not sketched any red underneath us. Have we ascended or lifted up our energy field to where we're no longer going to be affected by the excess fire of the crust of the planet that is creating all of these catastrophe issues and all of these potential catastrophic earth change issues? Maybe. I'm not sketching it here. If it was there, I would be sketching it. And here we have blue instead of red. So we got to get to the Trump helpful friends confrontation in the election energies, because we seem to be doing incredibly well. There's something else I need to sketch, and that is, oh dear. This is a spaceship on the left of the head. This is a spaceship on the right of the head. And in between them, they have a net, like a fishing net. And that fishing net, it goes down and under us, and then it from one spaceship and up to the other spaceship. Like between the 2 spaceships, they will be lifting us up. Ground zero. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but ground zero having to do with humans being lifted up by aliens, which is basically this that I'm sketching is symbolic of that, has to do with what Elon Musk is doing next week, which is putting somebody, a human being, in one of his rockets. Why would that be? I don't know. I can give you information. I may not necessarily know the why of it. But this lifting us up, I know why. The powers that be off planet don't want humans to get off of the planet. So the bad guys. So whatever Elon's doing that would take humans closer to being able to get to Mars, or even to be doing whatever it is that he was going to do on Monday, and now it's Tuesday, they have to wait until the weather is whatever, and the weather's been really bad in Florida. That puts us that much closer. It's a manned mission. So this that I just sketched has a connection to what is happening next week. Coincidentally, I asked Mateo Cuaron, who does our sacred mantrista music, which is what we use for the mantra meditations, I asked him to do one for SpaceX. And it was almost as if I had electrified Mateo. It was like, oh my God. So we're in production of that now. He's in production of that now. I'm crossing my fingers, and interesting, an important moment. What it is that Elon's going to do. I also feel that he's going to get interference. So you know what we're going to do today? We are going to support that which is good for us. We're going to work on closing the portal of rage in Florida associated with Trump. And if I were him, I would be in a rage, because there's no place that I can read any place about him that they're not talking about. They're absolutely going to take him out, take him down, kill him, assassination, whatever. And I mean, we can, this is like business as usual, but it's not really business as usual. Because if anything happens there, all of us that have supported him, when we examine things and determine that this would be a really good choice for this country, basically it's pulling the rug out from under all of us, which is the reason why they would be doing it. So we're going to work on those two things. So the mantra is, we have two things we want to do. We're going to do the mantra, being at this, what Elon is doing in space, it is going to affect us. That is the mantra that we're going to be doing. So it would be, please God, help us with our intention to miraculously that Elon's mission, and this, we're talking about what's happening next week, Elon's mission be miraculously protected and successful. Okay? So give me a second while I type it up. The word protected is very important. Okay, this is the mantra for this mantra session. And we're going to use the music that is for this portal here. So how do you do the mantra? You have your 2 feet on the ground. You try to put your fingers in the Apana Mudra, because it will help to stabilize you. The 2 center fingers touching the thumb, and the other 2 fingers extending. And then put the back of the hands on the top of your thighs. That wakes up the 3 lower chakras, which keeps you more grounded and gives more vitality to your intentions. And we're going to do 10 minutes. And if you see anything interesting, go ahead and put it up. Please don't put anything up that has to do with government conspiracy, because then I'm going to get taken down. You're going to just have to hold that information to yourself. We don't want to be deprived of our ability to communicate. And a lot of stuff gets revealed here, but we just have to be silent about it. Okay? So here we go. And for those of you that are, for everybody, plant trees across the United States and Mexico. Just have the intention and just do it. And how do I do that? It's like a visualization, it's like fantasy in your head. Just visualize that happening and it will happen. So that's how reality is created. And then for those of you that know, go to South Florida, or for everybody, just get big chunks of ice or a big glacier and sit it on top of that area in South Florida that has a portal. If we cool it down, that repairs, and it just opens, so it's not going to be that hard to repair. Okay, let's do it. Not sure which one I want to do. Okay. Okay. So I will tell you what I saw. I worry. I'm a Cancer, so we worry everybody. I was worried about Elon, but I see that one of the reasons, if the major reason he's successful, is because his total focus on what his intention is. He should be a nervous wreck because he's putting people up in space and he's doing it for someone else, I believe, if I understood correctly. So it's not even just like him saying, okay, so it didn't work. Okay, so my thing didn't work. We'll try it again. But he's totally focused. Totally, totally focused. On the other hand, Trump is very much into an emotional reaction. Is there anything the matter with that? No, there's nothing the matter with that. Trump is a Gemini, and Geminis are like two personalities. One is an adult, and then the other one is like a little kid. They can throw temper tantrums, lose their focus, and all the rest of that. And he's very much like that. Um, but we put the ice on there, and that seems to be working very nicely. I wasn't able to get any information about the successor of the mission, but we did a good 10 minutes, and the energies seem to be very focused. But I did realize something. Today, literally, the movement of the earth is moving in an opposite direction. I know that's a big deal, but when I sketch, I'm not thinking, is it a big deal, not a big deal? They're going to like it. No, I'm just sketching. It's moving in the opposite direction. And it's a good thing. The color is good. So this is like a huge thing. What, the 22nd of August, 2024. Okay, I'm assuming that tomorrow it's going to be still in that same direction. So this is the first time I've sketched two spaceships next to the heads of an individual. And then I sketched them with a net between them, ready to pick up humans, which is what happened in Atlantis at the end. The ones that did their physical bodies, I don't I don't know what happened to their physical bodies. That's a whole big debate. We're not going to get into that. So we got two big happenings that we're documenting on sketches. So something really huge is happening, and both of them look pretty positive. The movement of the Earth is a great color. There's a big heart in the United States. And the spaceship thing is we have friends. So that particular mission apparently is at a pivotal time in human history. And here we go again with Elon being a person that basically is forging ahead and creating history. And it is his focused intention and his values, which are totally Age of Aquarius values, and an acceptance of the fact that he has superpowers. When you think of superpowers, you think of somebody running around killing people and defending their family. And he is defending us. His superpowers is, how can a human being cover that many bases at such a high level and do it so well? That's a superpower. And that's what the people that enjoy business need to learn. Bottom line, if they don't absolutely love what they're doing, and that they love is great for humanity, if they don't have those two foundational values, it doesn't matter what their focused intention is, they're not going to make the money, and it's not, whatever they make is not going to last, because the energies have changed. So basically we have finished tonight. How do you guys feel? Let me put the white dress up, because the white dress for a lot of people seem to be a lot. No, I just see a dark band at the bottom, but check it out and see how it looks to you compared to the last time you saw it. And we will be back tomorrow, and we will sketch again, and we will see what it is that's going on. The mission that Elon has is, I think, right now scheduled for Tuesday, and maybe we can have some music that can help support that. Very exciting. Actually, we're living in really exciting times. If you are aligned with this new cycle. Oh, wait a second. I have to tell you a story, and I'm sure you won't believe it, and that's okay. I have been doing this for several years, doing chats with the group with the Mantrista movement in Spanish. And through the years, here in my office where I give the chat exactly where I'm here with you now, I will have spirits walk in. The spirit of Anubis, Osiris, the Knights Templar used to come and work with us when we had enemies attacking us. I know it sounds like a little video game. The other dimensions can look like a video game, because that's how quickly reality can change. So anyway, last night, the stormtroopers came in from Star Wars, and I was like, okay. And then they opened up, and Darth Vader was there. Now, I'm going to remind you again that Darth Vader basically almost threw the entire galaxy, the universe, into darkness because he lost his mother when he was a child. He didn't go into darkness at that point. When he was an adult and he got married, he had a wife. She became ill, I believe, and was going to die. And I don't know what the rest of that part of the story, whatever happened to her. But he was looking for relief, and he went to the darkness to get it. And then the entire galaxy, universe, I'm not sure what word they use, was going to go into darkness because of that. And when he was confronting his son, he told him to tap into his anger to defend himself, which is an emotion. Anyway, in that movie, which was the last one at that point, and then they had others, They had like a segment that was like 5 minutes long that was simply Vader on top of a sea of lava, rage, fire element, because of the loss of mother and then loss of wife or potential loss of wife. So what Darth Vader told me last night, and yes, I know, oh, Francis, come on, please. You've been okay up till now talking about politics and space rockets. Don't go there. I will go where the information takes me and I will give it to you and then you just take it in. Don't don't bank on it. Don't tell the whole world. Just let it hold there. You know that I make sense having to do with the thing with emotions. Most people don't even remember that. They go, "Oh yeah, that's right." Well, we almost went into darkness because we had emotional traumas. Darth Vader had emotional traumas. So he shows up last night and he said, "Congratulations, you're going into a new cycle." Oh dear, maybe that's the changing of the direction of the movement of the Earth quest. Um, this planet On this planet, humans are supposed to learn to deal with their emotions, and they never did. And that's true. So he said, congratulations. Isn't that neat? So you don't have to believe it. You just heard it. And then start remembering Star Wars, because Star Wars was to get us ready for what's happening now. And the most important scene is when they're at the bar and they have all these people, all these beings, these spirits, but in their physical vehicle that their spirit is poured into is different. They look like different animals and things we've never seen. They look like monsters. They're sitting having a drink together, a community of souls that have their physical body, physical vehicle, their physical container are very different. And then do not forget that when they go to other planets, what they're looking for is natural resources, minerals, gold. That's an important part of that movie. And I can tell you it's an important part having to do with planet Earth and what happens behind the scenes. So, there, I gave you all the stories, and we will be here together.